Imagine yourself in the year 1750, aboard a ship embarking on a mysterious voyage. La Esperanza, a massive Spanish vessel, departs from the port city of Cádiz, Spain, heading toward Latin America. Its captain, Sebastian Diaz, is a man revered for his seafaring skill and courage. However, he carries an eerie feeling with him. Something tells him this journey will be unlike any other. The ship is loaded with precious cargo, spices, gold, and silver, and the mission is clear: deliver these goods to the city of Lima, Peru. But shortly after departure, a sense of unease spreads among the crew. Something doesn't feel right. At first, everything seems fine. The sea is calm, and the wind is favorable. The ship is moving at a steady pace, and the men go about their duties with ease. But as the days pass, strange occurrences begin to happen. A few sailors hear odd noises during the night, footsteps echoing on the deck, faint whispers coming from the depths of the ship. Some claim to have seen fleeting shadows moving in the corners of their vision, but when they turn to look, no one is there. It's as if the very ship is alive, breathing, waiting. The crew tries to dismiss these signs as mere figments of their imagination, but unease continues to grow. Captain Diaz, once a confident and commanding figure, begins to act strangely. His calm demeanor falters, and he begins to grow distant, retreating into himself. He stands at the helm for hours, staring out into the endless horizon, murmuring under his breath in a language the crew cannot understand. When asked if everything is all right, he simply nods, but his eyes carry an unsettling sense of worry. As the days continue to pass, the tension within the crew becomes palpable. The whispers and strange occurrences are no longer dismissed as superstition. There's something terribly wrong on board the La Esperanza, but what could it be? The first real sign of trouble comes when a thick, unnatural fog sets in. The crew, accustomed to the open sea, now finds themselves surrounded by a veil of mist that stretches as far as the eye can see. The sun seems to be swallowed by the fog, and soon even the stars are hidden from view. The ship's movements become slower, the waves more unpredictable, and the atmosphere grows heavier with each passing hour. It feels as if the La Esperanza is trapped in a world of its own, suspended in time and space. This fog, however, isn't just any natural phenomenon. It seems to have a purpose. It clings to the ship, refusing to lift. The air becomes thick, almost suffocating, and the crew begins to feel disoriented. The most unnerving part is that Captain Diaz, usually in control, starts to lose his grip on reality. He becomes more withdrawn, speaking to himself in low tones that no one can understand. The few times he speaks to the crew, it's in fragmented sentences, as if he's trying to make sense of something they cannot see. The storm that comes next seems almost inevitable. One evening, the winds suddenly pick up and a black mass of clouds forms on the horizon. The sea becomes violent and the ship is tossed about by waves that seem unnatural, larger than any the crew has ever encountered. The storm rages for hours, and Captain Diaz, once the calmest of men in such situations, is nowhere to be found. The crew struggles to keep control of the ship, but it seems as though nature itself is working against them. In the chaos, they lose sight of the captain, and a panic begins to set in. Then, just as suddenly as the storm had appeared, it ends. The winds stop, the rain ceases, and the sea returns to its previous calm. But La Esperanza is no longer where it should be. The horizon is empty, and the ship seems to be stranded in the middle of a vast, unknown ocean. The crew tries to regain their bearings, but the ship is no longer on its intended course. The stars that had guided them are now hidden behind an unnatural darkness. The ship is lost, but no one knows how or why. Days pass, weeks. The crew, disoriented and terrified, finds that La Esperanza is drifting without direction. It's as if the ship itself is suspended in time. The men grow restless and hungry, but they can no longer tell where they are or how long it has been since they departed from Cádiz. No land in sight, no other ships. Then, one night, as the crew huddles together in fear, something unimaginable happens. A shout is heard from the crow's nest, At first, they think it's another hallucination, but the voice is too real, too urgent. It comes again, and this time the crew sees something impossible, a massive shadow looming on the horizon. The sailors strain their eyes to make sense of it, but the shadow is unlike anything they've ever seen. It moves toward them, but there's no wind to push it. The shadow grows larger, and soon, La Esperanza is drawn toward it. When the ship finally draws close enough, the crew sees what it is. Another ship, a vessel that is not only massive but appears untouched by time. It is a ghost ship, silent and eerie. There are no lights, no movement. It floats, unmoving, as if waiting for something. The name on the bow reads, La Esperanza. The crew aboard El Solitario, the ship that had approached, is astonished. The La Esperanza they thought was lost appears whole, but it is deserted. There is no sign of life aboard. The ship looks immaculate, but there are no people. No crew, no captain. It's as if the ship is simply waiting. The sailors aboard El Solitario board the ghost ship, cautiously stepping onto its silent deck. The moment they set foot on it, a strange coldness fills the air. The ship seems to hum with an unnatural energy, as if the very wood of the ship is alive. When they search the ship, they find the cargo untouched, precious spices and silver crates, everything intact, but everything eerily still. The crew is unsettled. Then, the most terrifying discovery of all. The crew hears a sound from below deck, a faint, distant cry, followed by a low, mournful wail that seems to echo through the very bones of the ship. The sailors' blood runs cold. They search below deck, but when they arrive, they find nothing, only more crates and supplies, but the sense of dread doesn't leave them. They decide to abandon the ship. The captain of El Solitario orders the crew to return to their own vessel, but they cannot shake the feeling that something else has followed them, something they cannot see, but can only feel. The shadow of La Esperanza lingers in their minds. The legend of the ghost ship La Esperanza persists to this day. Over the years, sailors claim to have seen it on rare occasions, drifting through the fog in the Caribbean. They say it moves aimlessly as though trapped between realms. Some believe the crew made a pact with dark forces and that the ship was doomed to sail for eternity. Others say it's a manifestation of lost souls, forever wandering the sea in search of release. The story of La Esperanza remains one of the greatest maritime mysteries of all time. Was it cursed? Was it lost due to a supernatural event? Or was it the result of a pact made in desperation? What truly happened to Captain Sebastian Diaz and his crew? The answers may never be known. But one thing is certain, the mystery of La Esperanza will continue to haunt the seas for centuries to come.